Hello, everyone. I thought I would talk about copyright law and basically give my thoughts on it. Now, of course, as an author, I view copyright as being enormously important to my success because copyright law is meant to protect, an author from being plagiarized. That an author should have exclusive rights to their work to print it and reproduce it and to sell it. And I think that's very important, and it's fundamental to the success of an author that their work be protected through copyright. However, where it gets a bit murky is when an author dies. Yeah, I think that's where things get very gray, and I think where copyright law can be abused because I do think that copyright laws have worked to the advantage of corporations, in particular, to basically bastardize works of art, to change works of art. I mean, we've seen this with things like the Rings of Power, for example, and it can lead to a lot of problems. And I understand the benefit, for example, of a copyright surviving an author's death if they, let's say, want to give the copyright to their family because they want to see their family protected and taken care of financially. But the downside to all of that is that anyone who owns a copyright after an author's death uh, could, whether it's a corporation or descendants, could potentially try to debase and change the author's work and act as if they are the author, that they reap the rewards and they are basically acting in the author's place. And I think that's a very big problem because the intent of the author obviously isn't being honored in such cases, and they are, in many cases, they can debase history, and they can ruin the artistic reputation in some cases of the original author, and uh, and that's why I don't necessarily think that a copyright should survive an author's death. Now, I think that maybe you could have a situation where someone could exclusively receive, let's say, royalties that that author was receiving for a period of time, possibly. But but I don't think that someone should be able to change the material, at least in the official capacity. Of course, people have been writing fan fiction for years, but change the material as if they are the authors, as if they are acting in an official capacity. I don't think that corporations or even the descendants of an author should be able to do that beyond an author's death, because I think that history and artistic intent can be ruined and debased if corporations or family members or descendants are allowed to do that. Which is why I think copyright law is very messy and very complex. And of course, copyright is important while an author is alive. But after an author dies, things get very murky and very gray.